in the Divine Light Star tribe. So we have a really unique opportunity right now to analyze this 15 kilo crystal skull coming out of Mexico. Now, you can analyze the artistic signature, and we can see that this skull actually has a few different partners to it. We see it directly correlating within the artistic signature of the piece itself, where one side is carved as a elongated crystal skull and the opposite side is a jaguar. Now, Jaime Maussan has this skull right now, and they're analyzing it up close. So we can take a closer look at the partnering skull. And I believe when we look at these artifacts and start to study and understand, they tell a story together, right? Collectively, they seem to hold information and almost more of the Akashic code. Now, as we look up close, right, analyzing, are these skulls older or are they new? And it's something that we always have to question. And that's the number one thing I wanted to talk about right now, is questioning our historical timeline. Because the more that we analyze, what has been, indoctrinated into our historical timeline, the more we have to question almost everything that we've been taught through the education system and what is actually documented as our historical timeline, considering it seems to be manipulated. And through direct, confirmations of family bloodlines that I have access to, I've actually got confirmations that on the original boat that came over, the Mayflower, there was a family lineage that came over, and they're ninth generation at this point. And they actually have documentation of all of the buildings that were already here prior to, Columbus claiming this discovery of the United States of America. Now, there's been a huge, agenda to control the way that we see our historical past and our timeline. And the purpose of this is so they can control, right, basically sacred sites and our true understanding of the level of advanced technology that we had and still hold at this time. Now, the purpose of this is so they could reintroduce, technology along the way, right? It's a way of controlling power through technological evolution. Now, when you look up close at this crystal skull, it's kind of like an echo and a fractal representation of the Buga microchip and almost an organic technology that we see. Notice the circuitry, right, that is being depicted, almost activating like the blood flowing through our body. And we can see, the veins of the human body are basically almost like circuits. They're living, pulsing, crystalline intelligence. And this skull seems to have sacred symbols depicted all over it. We see everything from the microchip to the actual geometry frequency of cymatics, right? And that echoes into the symbols and what they represent. And it's almost like they understood how to work with this frequency, and they encoded it into sacred artifacts. That way it could withstand the tests of lifetimes, and we could then later decipher the information provided.
Okay, so one thing you want to kind of study and analyze when it comes down to crystals and if they've been dyed. Certain people might say they think this one is dyed because of the different variations of colors of green. But what we believe is this is a crystalline adventurine, and you can even see little bands of quartz going through all the way through the full piece. And if this was all saturated and dyed, one of the first locations to fill with that green would be this banding of quartz coming through it. So that right there is something you always want to look for, and we can follow that band all the way up and all the way through, connecting right here, right down the center, right on the third eye of this beautiful extraterrestrial being right here, and all the way through to here. So a full color band of quartz going through this. Unbelievable energy. Jaguar. Almost looks like Shipibo vibration the more that I analyze it and study it. The microchip being, representation of the Shipibo indigenous tribes communicating through ayahuasca and getting access to the circuitry of the planet, the language of Mother Earth, speaking through vibrations. So it's one thing we got to really think about too, right? Are we starting to get to a level where we're getting access to information from a higher source? Could the technology be a gift from Spirit, from Mother Earth, guiding us into this evolution of technology, right? Are we guided by Mother Earth in this time? It's another interesting thought, and I'd love your opinion on that as well. So let me know what you think about the Buga microchip appearing and the quantum technology and everything related to the circuitry, right? Now that we look at it and see an indigenous vibration to it all. So it starts to hold some form of, visual resonance to what would look like the Shipibo's expression of intelligence, right? The Mother Earth given a voice through artistic vibration. So it seems this thing is vibrating, and this is the sacred symbol we'll tune into right now. Share a little clip and a video of how important this symbol is at this time.
Powerful for your video. Core connection. The spiral pattern in the notebook drawings labeled cosmic supraliminal frequency directly relates to the geometry of higher order resonance, frequencies existing above human perception, subtle bands of energy that shape and influence physical reality without being directly detectable by the five senses. Now, on the adventurine Jaguar skull, we see the same encoded spiral geometry emerging as a carved starburst rotational pattern. This is no coincidence. These are universal keys showing up across artifacts, modern downloads, and even microchip-like engravings. Why the symbols match? Golden ratio and Clo2 to 5 constants. Both the notebook spiral and the skull engravings carry proportions that echo the golden ratio and root harmonics. This is the language of nature, shells, galaxies, and quantum fields alike. Supraliminal frequencies. In the notes, it states that these patterns deal with frequencies beyond ordinary perception. On the Jaguar skull, the same pattern appears surrounded by circuit-like etchings, almost as if these ancient artisans encoded the same truth. These frequencies operate like a cosmic technology. Microchip parallel. Just like the Bugosphere symbol found in Bogota, resembling a quantum circuit, these skull engravings are mapping an interface between biology, the jaguar, a power animal, and cosmic technology, spirals, radiant bursts, waveforms. What this means for the timeline, the repetition of this symbol across different contexts, government documents, crystal skulls, Bogota artifacts, suggests that we are entering the exact window where humanity is retuning to supraliminal bands of consciousness. These patterns aren't just decoration, they're blueprints of frequency access points. The jaguar, in Mesoamerican tradition, is the night seer, the shaman that moves between worlds. The skull being encoded with these spirals means it was literally designed as a vessel for transdimensional frequency navigation. Modern diagrams labeling this cosmic supraliminal frequency wave pattern may be rediscovering what the ancients already carved into stone.
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much. If this is the type of information that you enjoy, please like, share, and subscribe. Please leave a comment. I always respond, as we're all truly working to unlock the Akashic vibrations that are encoded within these artifacts. Stay tuned for more of the magic and the divine light.